you know, the women harbored grudges against each other far more than men would.
Any
But
particularly bad stories from that place?
no, no. But one of them, one funny story was one of them pulled a practical joke on me. I did a practical joke on one of the female staffers, and she vowed to get me back. So she called my telephone line, in my office, and she had secretly put toothpaste on the earpiece. And when I answered it, I got an earful of toothpaste, which I must admit that was funny. It was a funny practical joke. But no, no horror stories.
What was it that you did to her? What was the prank?
I put some, I'll just say material on a doorknob that I knew that she was going to grab. Okay, it wasn't anything disgusting, but just some material that would get all over her hands, and she grabbed the doorknob, and it got all over her hands. So she vowed revenge, and she got it. Just silly, in office practical joke.
You guys ever watch that TV show, The Office?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because they'd always do those pranks on each other. What's his name? Those two guys, the nerdy one and then the other one.
Yeah, that was what was his name? What was his name? I can't remember what his name is. Dwight. Yeah, Dwight. Mm-hmm. It would. Yeah, the other guy would do practical jokes on Dwight.
Yeah, so PZ Myers, I wasn't able to listen to what you had sent me there, that zip file, because my tablet wouldn't open it. But I see PZ Myers went ahead and uploaded it on YouTube, the whole AMA.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
Well, he's a feckless little coward for a guy who is such a rabid, staunch atheist. He certainly wimped out. I mean, what cowardice!
Yeah, he ran away. Yeah, he couldn't answer. He obviously couldn't answer the question, and he knew that he couldn't, and so he did exactly what that Krause does. That Krause did with Canadian Catholic, because Krause was telling Canadian Catholic to go ahead and mute you, and so a guy was doing the same thing. They can't answer the question.
I mean, but PZ Myers is an extremely outspoken atheist firebrand. Look how fast he folded like a cheap lawn chair. Okay, it only took me less than 2 minutes to get this guy to start folding.
Yeah, and in my conversation with him, he admitted that he doesn't actually exist.
Yeah.
He doesn't believe he actually exists. He's just a culmination of different parts, but it's just illusionary. His existence is illusionary.
Well, he said that my question to him, he said what I was saying to him was sophistry. And I said, well, can you be specific? What did I say to you that was sophistry? And this guy with a PhD in biology, okay, says all of it.
Yeah. That was just him trying to get out of it.
Can you imagine?
Canadian Catholic.
Yeah.
Canadian Catholic should have let it continue, though.
It would have been why was, I mean, it blows my mind that they would protect him, and all the atheists cheered. But wait a minute, I thought I only picked on white belts. If I'm such a doofus, then your preeminent atheist firebrands should be able to stand up to the scrutiny of fair questions.
Yeah, all the atheists were saying, "Oh, he shut Darth down." Well,
No,
how can he shut you down when? How can he shut you down when he's the one running away?
I mean, this is how psychotic they are. PZ Myers basically stuck his tail between his legs and he ran.
That's exactly what he did.
I mean, anybody who doesn't understand from listening to interaction that he completely fagged out, he completely was an absolute feckless coward, All right. How could anybody rationally say he shut me down? He didn't. He just refused to continue to talk because he realized that his usual atheist cliches and talking points were not going to work in terms of my specific line of questioning.
I don't understand why Canadian Catholic didn't shut me down because I was getting I got him upset. I made PZ Myers curse. He was getting upset.
Maybe because you're Catholic, you know.
Well, I
Now
told
that
her,
was
he fell right into it though, because I didn't even. I mean, the whole thing about the illusion thing, I didn't even expect that. That was just weird. So then I tried to, kind of get him off of that because I think he drowned himself with that. But so I said, okay, let me get him back on track. And so he drowned himself a second time when he went ahead and answered the questions that I posed to him, and he answered them exactly the way in which, by his answers, he has no choice but to accept that God exists, because his own answers would suggest that a God does exist. So then when I pointed that out to him, he started cursing.
would you are you expecting to atheists to be logical?
No, they're not, just like Shannon Q. She was completely trying. She was not logical at all.
Excuse me? Who?
she
Who?
she was
No, who?
and if you look at
Who?
Shannon Q.
Darth, I think he's
Shannon-
talking about duck lips.
Duck lips.
Yeah,
Shannon
big
Q.
duck lips. Yeah, yeah.
Don't
I
feel
mean, totally
bad. I mean,
illogical. Yeah, totally illogical yesterday. Because I mean, the thing is, the variable that I presented was all people throughout history that have physically died. Well, the dichotomy of that would be all people throughout history that would not have physically died. They a world in which nobody dies. So she said that in that world, even if she herself has ailments, she would know that she would physically die, even if all those people to whom have the same ailments have not ever physically died. That's insane.
and who said that to you?
Shannon Q.
She's a dope. She tries to
That's
come
just
across as
insane.
intelligent. She's not. She's not an intelligent woman. If she was an intelligent woman, why did she prevaricate? Why did she troll me and attempt to gaslight me when we interacted? Why? It's because she feared an actual adult interaction. Okay.
Well, Darth,
Yeah,
if you had some psychotherapy, you would realize that she knows what
Oh
she's
my
talking about.
gosh. Were you listening into our critique of Shannon Q. Ducklips?
Yeah, I came in on the end of it. That was
Okay,
funny.
yeah. She's totally drunk the Kool-Aid of the psychotherapy world. They lost their minds when the guy said that his counsel said to him, "Well, that your atheism could lead to your unhappiness," and they oh my gosh, they lost their minds.
Call the police.
Call the police! What are
Yeah,
they
so
doing,
her
these people?
logic would be like this. Here's an analogy. If everyone throughout the history of mankind at the age of 50 was to begin floating up into the sky, defying gravity, she would suggest that with regards to herself, when she reaches the age of 50, she would not float up into the sky because there's a such thing as gravity.
You know, if you take a look at my interaction on Modern Day Debate, she tried to make an appeal to science to mitigate against the concept of an immaterial soul interfacing with the body. I then said to her, given that you're a atheist activist, how does your atheistic worldview ground what would be a necessary precondition for science, namely the uniformity of nature? And she realized, oh, I'm in big trouble. And
Yeah, she was trying to run away from it.
And for the remainder of the interaction, she gaslighted.
Yeah.
And you know what's
Yeah,
funny? Is the one thing I've noticed about these atheists, they can behave extremely badly and even immensely stupid and they're still not embarrassed about it. They will even upload it to their own channels, which she did. I mean, explain that to me.
And this whole
I mean,
thing about Dillahunty, you saw the video, you watched the video with Dillahunty, the guy used which your argumentation almost word for word. What is this thing about temperature? He goes to this thing, well, I know about temperature. I can sense temperature, therefore
that's
you're
why,
wrong, I'm right.
That's why I call him Matt the Bloviator, because he was not saying anything that was metaphysically substantive. Okay? Right?
Yeah, it made no sense
Can he
whatsoever.
demonstrate? No.
What does temperature have to do with it?
No, but you see, here's the thing is, in order for him to even lay claim to that, he would have to presuppose the uniformity of nature. That the temperature readings, even within his own head, stay this relatively the same to every day. Okay? And he can't justify that given his worldview. Look, he's a very poor reasoner. It's just that he's aggressive, he's nasty, and he's a bloviator. Okay, and obnoxious without cause, I should say, right? Because I know I get rough around the edges sometimes, but I believe that I have cause much of the time. But he doesn't, right? And the atheists love that. It's red meat for the atheists. That's why they love him. But when it comes to intellectual reasoning, he's not that good. I mean, not to pat myself on the back, but how many of you think he would remain cool, calm, and collected upon me questioning him on a one-on-one?
I'd pay to hear that.
I would pay to see that.
He gets pissed at nice people.
I was going to say that this morning. I would buy tickets to that.
Well, he was offered to do it on Modern Day Debate, and he refused. And he's publicly stated he will not let me call in.
Yeah.
What's he afraid of?
He's afraid of transphobia, apparently.
Transphobic douche nozzles.
Yeah.
Well, if you haven't seen his diatribe where he throws mommy and daddy under the bus for sending him a birthday card with Bible verses on it, you don't know what you're missing. You're not going to understand Matt Dillabloviator to the extent that you need to without seeing that video, because that reveals a lot about his mentality, and that it's a bizarre video, folks. Bizarre.
More bizarre than him dressing up in drag.
Well, I would suspect that maybe he's a closet, tranny, but given the fact that he has had a goatee for all these years, that would kind of mitigate from suspecting that. So
he does have sort of a weird face, though. That's true.
Usually these trannies want to keep clean shaven. You don't see many bearded men who fantasize about being women. Oh, I went on to a YouTube stream today, and they had 2 trannies and 3 or 4 other guys. And I posted a comment. I said, "Oh, we have 2 dudes that are trannies." I said, "Maybe one day we'll have 3 trannies on a live stream." And they went nuts.
Was it an atheist show?
Yeah, I forget what the name of the show is. I'll have to look in my history to see what it was.
Why are so many atheist trannies? What the? Why is it so common?
Well, their atheism is delusional to begin with, right? They've deluded themselves that there is no God.
It was desert atheists.
They're under demonic influence, so they're susceptible
Shyla, who said that we can't say tranny. Who determines what's appropriate nomenclature? The very people we're criticizing? Because I'm not going to conform to their language rules.
Is that the channel? Desert Atheists? I'll have to look.
Noah, what do you think about this? How all the academics today are using feminine pronouns to represent all mankind? Like,
it really bothers me. I'm reading.
It really pisses me off.
It's a capitulation. It's cowardice, because they're afraid. They're simply afraid of getting attacked.
Yeah, in multiple philosophy books I've been reading that are
all the philosophers do it.
Yeah, well, philosophy is supposed to be one of the less ideological disciplines, but even in philosophy, like you'll be reading a guy giving an abstract argument about a subject, and it will just be a she instead of a he. I usually just cross out the S, but it's annoying.
Like Alvin Plantinga does that all the time, and for the longest time I wasn't able to read him because he would do it.
It's so distracting.
Yeah, it really is. Now, John Frame, I know John Frame in his book Doctrine of the Knowledge of God in the opening, he says, you know what? I'm going to use male pronouns to represent all humanity because that's the way we've always done it. It's the Christian way. In Christianity, the man represents humanity, not the woman.
Of course.
Like, I really liked him for that. You know, Frame has taken some wishy-washy views in the past, I think, but on that, he really I like that he stood firm on it, and I'm like, at least one theologian did. I'm sure there's some others, but
I apologize. I'm looking for the video. You said desert atheists? I'm not finding it in my history here.
The desert heathens?
Desert heathen.
Oh, yeah, that was it. Desert heathens. That was the guy with the crazy hair.
Oh, is that the one that the pot smoker with all the guitars in his room?
No. That wasn't it. That was yesterday. I'm talking about today. There was another stream of atheists, and I pointed out that they had a couple of trannies on there in the text chat, and they go, "Oh, it's Darth Dawkins!" And all of them erupted at once, having a conniption fit. Let me look at my hit, see if I can find it. Yeah, they really went nuts.
Did their wigs come off?
No, they didn't. Yeah, flip a wig. Yeah. Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, shotgun. That thing you said reminded me of the swearing in of the American Congress. What did the guy say? The politician? He said, "Amen" and "a people" or "a women."
A woman.
Yeah. Oh my gosh!
A man and a woman.
He said he was joking, which he wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, God, if that's not the death of Western civilization right there in a nutshell.
Shotgun. You know what the actual meaning of that is, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you talking about the text? Yeah. Actually, I first heard Tolkien, and if you read Lord of the Rings, they're climbing over the mountains, and Frodo's like, "We need some faggots for somebody grab some faggots. We got to start a fire."
Well, you know, speaking of Washington D.C., I heard that they're passing this Equality Act, whereby it's possible that not just businesses, but even churches will have to go ahead and employ and even engage in marrying, officially marrying gay couples and stuff like that. Otherwise, they're susceptible to lawsuits or government lawsuits.
Really? That's sounds pretty extreme. I mean, that couldn't stand up to the Constitution, right?
Well, it's what essentially they're giving transgenders and gays and so forth a front seat with regards to rights, and they're telling all those religious or people that have religious views, now you have to take a back seat with regards to your rights.
Yeah, sit down, Whitey.
Well, I think the Weinstein verdict was I mean, I don't like the guy, but the idea that we can be prosecuted with no evidence just on the say-so of a woman, like if a woman just says that a man has been inappropriate towards her, that's all that matters. Like, I think that's a dangerous legal precedent to set. I mean,
What's the Weinstein verdict?
hold on, give me a second.
Well, isn't that how they prosecuted Bill Cosby as well? I mean, what material evidence did they use to prosecute Bill Cosby?
Well, I think in the Cosby situation there was actual empirical data, but I didn't follow it close enough to.
He admitted in depositions to giving drugs to women.
Yeah,
not to change the subject or to derail it. I posted in Atheist Helpline. It says drunk or not atheist history. I do not know what precise time in this stream that I posted my remark in the text, but they all of them in unison erupt in absolute disgust and horror that Darth Dawkins had posted. Okay, so if somebody wants to go through that quickly and find the timestamp, I'd appreciate it because I don't feel like doing it.
Now, when they do that, do they sound like men or do they sound like women when they scream?
Well, you should see how you should see what gorgeous things these trannies are. I mean, wow, they are lookers.
On the bottom.
If you look through it, whoever gets the timestamp, if someone looks through it, they just all of them erupt all at once in absolute horror and disgust that Evolution False Darth Dawkins has posted a comment about trannies.
Do you remember how many were in the call when you posted?
No, I don't, and I don't remember. I apologize. I also apologize. I'm too lazy to go through it. I'm just tired. But if somebody wants to find the timestamp, I appreciate it. I mean, I wasn't too derogatory. I just said, "Oh, there's 2 trannies in the stream. Maybe one day we'll get to see 3 trannies live on a stream." And they, oh my gosh, they went nuts. They were so upset.
I think Nick's finding it. He just muted himself. So
when you see them all erupt in horror and disgust all at once, it's really funny. It just drives them nuts that anyone would criticize these delusional transsexuals, especially Christians. It just drives them nuts.
So were you watching their broadcast? Like they're doing atheist history? What is
I
that?
didn't watch it. I just only jumped in for a few minutes and I posted that note, and they timed me out after I posted my note.
Nice.
I try to be careful in what I post, not to be too provocative, because I don't want to cross the line and be guilty of trolling, you know. But yeah, they get upset. You know what they all have in common when you see these people on these YouTube streams? What they all have in common is they just have terrible reasoning. And they all slap each other on back about what great thinkers they are. I mean, they're morons. I have no compunctions about saying these people are idiots.
Shyla said also they have bad teeth.
Oh, that's because one of the trannies was missing some teeth. If you want to see a really good example of a atheist transvestite transsexual, go onto YouTube and look up Lavender Lady. Where do you see that beauty?
I don't think I even want to look that up.
Isn't it surprising how many of these trannies are atheists?
Yeah, it's like what I was saying the other day. We're not dealing with atheists. We're dealing with liberalism, and atheism is just a tenet of liberalism. It's like a whole religion. It's a culture war. It's my analysis of it. So many people hate Christianity today because they've been led to taught that homosexuality is this high virtue, and
all right, there you go.
transsexualism is.
There you go. That's for your viewing pleasure. There's an atheist tranny, a real looker. I'm sure he fools a lot of people. What do you hear the sexy voice that he has too? That's the Lavender Lady.
Yeah, if that was an actual female
he has a
room,
raspy voice.
Hey, is that a sexy voice?
It's so low. It's lower than the guy.
What I'm supposed to
Darth?
be doing.
Is one of his best friends Burgundy Lady?
Burgundy. I mean, here's a dude that fantasizes that he womans. He takes hormones to grow boobs, and then he wants people to take him seriously that he's a woman. I mean, these people are just a train wreck.
The timestamp is at 1:18:40-ish.
Thank you. 1:18. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Kudos to you, my friend.
Hey, Darth, will you live stream that?
Yeah. Let me give me a second. Give me a second. Okay, what was the timestamp again?
1:18:42.
Okay, let me just live stream that. Okay, here we go.
Some degree. I would say the second parent, if they can afford to do it, is doing the better job. So are you saying that our God, if it exists, just
sorry, can I just say something? Can one of the mods
yeah, get rid of that guy.
Darth Dawkins, fuck off. That's Darth Dawkins.
Darth Dawkins. Is it really?
I'm gonna put a transphobic piece of shit.
Hey,
sorry, I know this is your stream, B.
No, he's
You see how they're all losing their minds? Is it really?
Don't say, is it really?
Is that Bigfoot? Oh gosh, you hear the visceral hatred.
Sounds like an angry bottom. He sounds like an extremely angry bottom. Yes, he is. If you ever want to hang out, I'll give you a hug. We'll go drink some coffee. When
I tried to hug Darth Dawkins. It doesn't go well.
No, he interrupts. He's an absolute jerk.
You can hug the bucket, but not this.
Would you like to meet me in a dark alley sometime?
Oh,
wow. I think I understand the spirit of what you're trying to say. Okay, and if I don't, please correct me, because it could be a mistake. You're saying why isn't this situation as premium as is logically possible?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, that's about it. That was their mini meltdown.
Darth, that guy in the middle is like threatening you.
Did you guys hear how they're making threat?
If I see him in an alley, I'm gonna.
They go, Darth Dawkins in the chat. They go, no.
But what's funny is if she actually ran into you in an alley, she'd be like,
"It's a dude."
Darth Dawkins? Is that you?
It's not a she. It's a dude.
No. Okay, I'm sorry. You guys.
I mean, wait a minute. Not even Rosie O'Donnell is that ugly as a female. Come on. Don't you think? I think they really think that our feelings will be hurt when they call us transphobic.
Hey, Darth, do you use Google Chrome as your browser?
I actually use Safari, Google Chrome, and Firefox.
You should get ad blocker. It's free and it will prevent all ads on YouTube.
Thank you.
Yes, I use the ad blocker all the time in my Google Chrome browser.
Yeah, but if you watch movies on like a pirate site, it won't let you play the movies, right? So I keep having to turn ad blocker off, and it's like, how do you?
Well, for most ad blockers, you can turn it off for particular websites.
Yeah. Just even if you have it downloaded on Chrome, though, it's like, oh, we sense that you have an ad blocker.
That's odd. Usually when you turn it off, like
it just stays off. It's like a preference.
I even there's like 4 or 5 different ad blockers. I tried like multiple different ones, and because I don't pay for Hollywood movies at all. I pirate I am not ashamed of that. I don't pay for that garbage, but I do watch it sometimes. But yeah, so I'll try a different one. I mean, it's been a couple months since I tried it, but do you guys like, I don't know, I hate Hollywood. I mean, I feel like they're at war with everything that's good in the world, and why would I pay money
I
to
think
see their
it's
crap?
Hello
horrible.
to Hollywood.
Full of Satanists.
Mark Dice did a book about Hollywood, and he used the lettering for the Hollywood sign, and they hit him with a trademark infringement.
Wow. That's next level bullshit.
Well, it's the distinctive letters is trademarked.
I actually really like the way Mel Gibson talks about Hollywood. I don't know if you guys have heard him talk about Hollywood, but it's good.
Did you see Fat Man?
Not
I thought
sure.
Fat Man it was his recent movie where Mel Gibson's like Santa Claus, and
No, I don't think I've seen that at all. I'm still waiting on a sequel to The Passion, man. Let's see what this
Yo,
guy
just real quick.
He's working on it.
Nice.
Yeah, a lot of people say it's going to be really good.
Not that I support the movie. I don't. I wouldn't even watch it. But that shocked Hollywood because it made so much money. It just blew them away.
Wait, why wouldn't you watch it?
Because I don't think it's biblical to have an actor portray Jesus. The only accurate rendition we have is the scriptures, and that's it. It's difficult enough for human beings to get up and do teachings and accurately divide the word of truth, than have some actor portraying Jesus. I consider it, if not, or almost close to blasphemy.
I don't know. There was, I don't know. Like I really humbled myself to the awakening it brought to many. Like people that, I don't know. They've obviously heard the story, but seeing it, like it does have an emotional impact to it, and I think it was well done.
I don't question that at all, and I don't have any antipathy toward Mel Gibson. I happen to like him as a actor and a director, but that's where I cross the line when they're impersonating Jesus. I think that's to put it mildly a no-no.
I mean,
I'm
guess
not going to condemn somebody else who watches it or enjoyed it or whatever. I just tell them, what my view is, and that's it.
Yeah, fair enough. I can't remember what the actor's name was.
Make a bundle. Yeah, the sequel is going to. Well, look, the religious movie-going community, people are gullible.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't it the highest earning R-rated movie?
I don't know, but it made hundreds of millions in profit.
Wait, but wasn't it like 20 years ago? So wouldn't they have to pick new actors for a sequel and all the rest?
I don't know.
I don't
They
think
can do
I don't-
pretty good
20
stuff
years
with
ago?
CGI.
No.
I don't think it was that long either.
No. I don't think.
When was it made?
Like 2006 or something. I don't know.
Either way, I know that like the actor that played Jesus had some advice given to him from someone else in Hollywood. He's like, "There's 3 things you never play," and he's blah 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 blah, and Jesus. You never do those things. There's movies from the past
from
where
2004.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, there's movies from the past where people have played Jesus and kind of got away with it. Like, it doesn't really destroy their career. But for this,
He was hit by
this
lightning
one,
several times.
yeah, 3 times. I actually watched that. Yeah.
Oh,
It's like God's kind of he didn't die.
Nick,
Let's give him that.
Nick,
He
you're
didn't die.
baiting me, aren't you?
Can we review that later? That'd be funny.
Hey, you did say to press you on it.
What a fool Thomas Westbrook is. What a fool.
I think you should expose him right now.
Oh, you know what? I'm kind of tired right now.
Oh,
Can you
okay.
do that tomorrow? I mean,
Oh,
I
dude,
promise
of
you we'll do it
course. It's
tomorrow.
up to
I'm
you.
just tired. Oh, I would love to do it, but I just don't want to run out of steam, you know.
Of course, man.
I'll do a commentary on Thomas Westbrook tomorrow. I love the part where he attacks the Genesis account that he says it's falsified by science. And then I said to him, Thomas, are all conclusions in science provisional? And he was just like, he looks into the camera like a deer in the headlights. And you'll notice they pulled the tactic of just over talking and monologuing and not allowing a level playing field of a fair interchange, because he would have gotten his head handed to him.
Yeah, Jamie kept stepping in like, I think what Thomas is trying to say is...
Yeah, Jamie never fails to deliver.
I love the part where Jamie gets so heated at you. Dude, he gets so mad. He gets so mad, dude. He's clenching his fists. He's red in the face.
Well, interestingly enough, this was my call-in before my second call-in to Eric Permboy Murphy, where Eric Permboy Murphy learned his lesson, okay, not to let Darth Dawkins call in and ask you a question, okay? And on that second call-in with Eric Permboy that took place after this one, he would not let me get my question out.
I just saw today that you did one with Mandisa Thomas, and I haven't seen it yet. But
I
is
don't
there any?
remember that. I don't remember that. I mean, I've done. I won't say so many, but I've done enough that it's hard to remember them all. You know.
I'll link it.
If I could get through more, I would actually do a lot more than I already have.
Hey, someone want to mod the chat? They're blaspheming the Lord.
Who?
Coinichu.
What is he doing? Can you give me a timestamp?
It's 8:53. Yeah.
It looks like it was deleted. I'm not seeing it.
Just got deleted.
I got him.
And so, like, I was just thinking, like, earlier today, I was like, dude, I wish Darth would interact with Mandisa, because, like, I just think it would be so funny. And then I freaking find out you already did talk to her, which is just insane. It's insane, dude.
She's a dope.
I can't wait to listen to this.
She is. She's a dope. Mandisa, what a dope.
Okay, this is gonna sound horrible, but I feel like Matt, like, takes advantage of the fact that she's black and a female. Like,
What's with the screen name? Call her a person.
Okay, so I called in on that one?
Yeah.
With Mandisa? I don't remember that.
That's your voice, unless someone's imitating you.
All right, well, I'll tell you what. We'll do the Thomas Westbrook tomorrow, and we'll do this one, okay? Just give me
Yeah, this one's like 20 minutes or some shit.
Yeah, that's 100% Darth. Like, you can tell right away. It's Darth.
You recognize that sexy voice.
Fundamentally non-dependent. Who says that?
Really sexy guys.
Cornelius Van Til.
Cornelius Van Til, yeah. What's the timestamp when I begin? Do you know?
Oh, it's like within seconds.
From the beginning?
That face.
Yeah.
Let me just see here.
You should stream it. Damn, so you've probably never seen this.
You know, I remember that she's a dope, but I don't remember calling in. Okay, let's see.
To fruits, which is what do we believe?
I love Jamie's hairstyle. Don't you?
Explain the question. I'm coming from
That sexy voice does sound like me.
Christian theism, and Christian theism starts from the position. For example, in the Book of Acts, it says, "God, who made the world and everything in it, is Lord of heaven and earth." And I'll just read one more, just so I can clarify the metaphysical point of this. In Colossians, it says, "For by him all things were created, both in heavens and earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones or dominions. All things have been created through him and for him. He is before all things." And here's the key passage. "And in him, God, all things hold together." Now, from a metaphysical point of view, God could be defined as that which is unconditionally non-dependent. Okay? Would you accept that definition, that God is that which is unconditionally non-dependent?
Now, notice now, all I'm asking them is to accept the definition. I am not asking them to accept the actuality of the definition, right? And they always argue over everything.
If you're talking about what you believe exists and that you call a god, then I would have to say I have, I think, a basic understanding of what you believe a god is.
Yeah, if God is eternal and the creator of all things, then by definition, he would be unconditionally non-dependent, right? So,
well, that kind of
you see how they argue over everything?
depends, because I don't have a sufficient understanding of the cosmology to know whether that makes sense in a world where time is not also eternal. So
I'm just talking by definition.
Yeah, I'm not sure that definition makes sense because I don't have a sufficient knowledge of cosmology.
How many stupid pills do you think Jamie overdosed on that day?
But if you're
what
trying
was
to
the question you asked him?
Will you accept that definition in order for me to proceed? I'm not asking him to accept that it's actual.
Why would he have to know about cosmology?
I don't know. If you try to make sense of what Jamie says, you're going to lose your mind. You'll wind up in a padded cell. All right? The guy just doesn't make any sense.
Say uncaused, then sure.
Okay, so God is unconditionally non-dependent.
See, I've learned over the last couple of years, you can't give them too much information because they either don't have the intellectual capability or they'll just split hairs ad infinitum, ad nauseum. So you have to keep it really, really simple and dumbed down to its barest minimum.
And specific, right?
What's that?
And it seems like you also have to be really specific. Like, you know.
Yeah. You have to be so careful in how you say things, lest they take an opportunity to segue and to prevaricate.
Everything depends. So from a Christian theistic point of view,
look at Mandisa. She's not listening to me.
She's just checking out the phone.
Yeah, she's just sitting there playing with her phone. All right. you got Mandisa. You got all day long. You got the sexy voice on the call-in, and you're not paying attention. What's wrong with you, Mandisa?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if after not paying attention for like a minute, she just looks at the mic and she's just like, "Prove the Bible. Prove it."
Please, you're gonna make me lose it. But isn't Jamie just a piece of work? I mean, is this guy not hysterical?
I like his 3-piece suit.
I would have at least gotten a haircut, before coming on the camera.
God is
like
unconditionally non-dependent, and he would be the.
Well, listen, please. I think that's uncalled for, because that haircut. You have to understand, she's a very frugal person, and she got the best deal she could over at Puppy Palace for that haircut.
Okay, for a second, I was like, what?
Yeah. Well, at Puppy Palace, you can get very cheap haircuts. The only problem is you have to be on leash the whole time.
Personal absolute.
So
By definition-
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm
so much.
I'm sorry.
I understand that this is what you believe about a God, but the statement, so all Christians agree on X, is one that I don't think can
You see, I can't even get to my point.
Be said about anything.
No, this is not controversial. God,
I agree with you that it's not controversial. However, I don't know that.
However, I'm going to draw this out as long as possible as I can.
Other Christians would do that, right? Or what your definition of Christian is, or whether you count Mormons.
I mean, do you see how torturous it is to talk with this clown?
Right. Like those words may very well be words that Christians object to because they're not in the Bible, right?
I'd like to get to the question.
Yeah. So
I'd like to get to the question. Okay. So God is defined as the creator of all things. So if God is the creator of all things, then by definition, he's unconditionally non-dependent. Since you lack belief in God, all right? So, for example, in the Christian theistic position, if we say...
See, my mistake here is I'm presenting too much analysis and information. It's too much. Their brains overload.
Yeah. I mean, just look at Mandisa. She's just thinking like, man, when this gonna be over with?
No, so I have to really criticize myself here. Too much talking, Darth Dawkins. You should have just kept it really, really simple.
This was 2 years ago. You did say in the last couple of years.
I'm getting better. I know I'm getting better. I'm working. I'm working on it. I'm walking here.
Say the grass is green, then the intelligibility of the grass being green would depend upon God as that which is unconditionally non-dependent, since he's the creator of all things.
So to be clear,
this is a mistake. See, I should not have gone into all that detail, because this is overload for them on a call-in show. They just simply they don't have the capacity or the willingness to sit down and think of it. This is why you have to keep it really, really simple. So looking back on this, I would fault myself for presenting too much information, too much wordiness.
to be clear, anything at all would depend on God creating.
I'm trying to get to my question.
All right, yeah.
I'm just
We're with you.
Wait, can you pause there? How is that an object? This hair splitting is unbelievable. You said, for example, the grass being green is dependent on God. And he said, to be clear, everything would be dependent on God. Well, obviously that's your position. So he's just hair splitting.
Of course. Well, that's what they do. That's their MO.
Question.
Yeah.
Right. So in the Christian theistic perspective, which I hold to, the intelligibility of any...
Mandisa, put down that phone, woman.
...stated fact would only be in virtue of God, because God is unconditionally non-dependent.
Look, she's playing a game. Can you see that? She's literally playing a game and not listening. If you look at her fingers, she's not typing anything. She's playing.
Maybe she's on Tinder. Maybe she's swiping. I mean, this was 2 years ago. Tinder was really big back then.
Did you say Grindr?
Oh wow!
No.
Non-dependent. But since you have a lack of belief in God,
yeah, that hasn't met its burden of proof.
Oh man, Jesus back in the conversation.
What is it in your worldview that is unconditionally non-dependent and an impersonal absolute that will provide for the intelligibility of any assertion?
You see,
shaking her head.
This is overload for them. This is too much for them to understand.
Go
right?
back like a few seconds, dude, and notice Mandisa's head is exploding as you say that.
Yeah, you just ruined the flow of their whole show.
I know
Pay
that,
close
but
attention
I'm
to
being
her head.
honest here. Listen, I really made a mistake here. It's too much information for these pea brains to understand. That's why when you do, because you have such a limited opportunity. Okay, so that's my mistake. Too much information for them.
The head shake is really subtle.
I know that, but you know what? Listen, we're criticizing the both of them, but on the other hand, we should, recognize that Mandisa has excellent taste in hearings.
A worldview that is unconditionally non-dependent and an impersonal absolute that will provide for the intelligibility of any assertion. What is?
You see, I'm not doing well here because I'm asking this question as though I were in a Discord hangout where there's plenty of time to unpack all this stuff.
Yeah. Lesson learned, dude.
I know, but
but also, like, maybe you were giving them more credit than they deserve. Maybe you were assuming that they were intellectual enough to understand what the heck you're saying.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that.
I mean, dude, they're both lost. They're lost. Like, Jamie reached for his pen as if he's going to read notes, and he just started twirling it.
Yeah, he's doing the fake I'm taking notes on camera routine.
I don't assert that there is such a thing.
Before you...
All right, we got to wait till this commercial is over.
Then you will destroy.
No, I don't, because the world.
Well, you haven't even heard my
No, you haven't heard the full content of my response. The world.
Notice how, like in my previous call, how they constantly cut me off. It's just constant cutting off, constant interruption, constant hair splitting.
Does not live or die or be destroyed or created based on what I believe about it. I exist in a very, practically unfathomably for humans, large universe. And if I died tomorrow, absolutely nothing except, the nature of me being alive would change. So whether or not I have a complete understanding of the universe doesn't change anything about it.
And it's also not absolute. Period.
Right?
What was she saying wasn't absolute?
The fundamental reality or something.
I guess you're going to have to go back.
I think she was talking about the universe in general.
Jamie's rebuttal is just to make a bunch of metaphysical claims.
I think she just said that because she's actually dumb. Like, to be honest, that's not even I don't know why she said that.
I think that's unfair of you to say that about her. I mean, I know we're critical of them, but it had to require some intelligence for her to pick out those earrings.
If you're going to state any fact, a fact is only a fact with respect to the system. And the system is going to have to...
See, this is too complicated for these dumb atheists.
She's back on her phone.
Yeah, she's back playing.
Yeah.
She's back playing. No, she's back playing. What's that? Candy Crush.
Angry Birds.
The Angry Birds. Yeah, this is too wordy for these people. It's fine in Discord where we have plenty of time, but not for a phone call.
Have to contain a foundation.
Sure.
Whatever is unconditionally non-dependent. Now,
can you give me the case that must be true? That there must be a thing that is that. Because at the present moment, the best of human ingenuity and understanding at the present moment has come up with Big Bang cosmology.
He's totally
Darth.
clueless. He doesn't understand
Darth.
the metaphysics. Yeah.
They changed your name at the bottom from caller a person to caller definition trap guy.
Yeah, I didn't notice that.
That's your new name, bud.
Definition trap guy. Oh God. Yeah, I'm not doing a good job here. Not that what I'm saying isn't accurate. It's just information overload because they're used to thinking in terms of atheist cliches, catchphrases, and slogans. They're not used to having really good metaphysical discussions. So
No, that has nothing to do with. You're confusing.
You're talking
confusing
about existence and
cosmogony.
things existing and the universe as we know it.
Right?
The current greatest
I'm not
model
talking about the
is that.
universe.
Yeah.
No, I'm not talking about cosmogony. Okay. So what I'm talking about is metaphysics, which is even beyond that.
Which
right?
is sorry.
Now,
when you say metaphysics, do you mean the existence of
you keep
things?
cutting me off. You keep cutting me off when I'm trying.
I'm asking clarifying questions.
Man,
I know that, but I haven't finished, and you keep.
I think she's having gastric distress at this moment. You know, she ate at Taco Bell an hour and a half ago, and it's backfiring on her. Look at the look on her face there. Oh my goodness. Oh, I hope there's a ventilation fan in that studio.
You keep on you've interjected or cut me off at least 4 times.
I'm sorry.
Now I'd like to finish. Now, one will have to hold consciously or unconsciously that something.
Now to everything. Now. I'm trying to talk. Now. Can I get my question now?
See, there you go again. You didn't even let me finish. You see,
God, I love it when you call him out.
I did say no.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Wow, don't you look like a freaking fool, Mandisa?
I did say no. I did say no.
Well, okay, Dan.
Doing it
Okay,
again
Dan.
right now. Now, either you will hold that something is unconditionally non-dependent, or you will make assertions that are not derived from something that is unconditionally non-dependent.
Yeah, she's a special guest, and she can't even pay attention to a caller without playing on her phone. I mean,
this dude too smart for me.
Stop! Stop it!
Jamie, you got this?
Stop! Will you stop?
But it ain't absolute.
No! Stop! Stop!
Therefore, the assertions would have no basis. So do you believe that any of your assertions as an atheist have an ultimate basis to them?
Okay. At the present moment, I assert that I am holding this coffee cup. The basis for that is the coffee
my
cup.
Question.
I'm giving you an example that demonstrates
Please
the
let him
answer to your
finish, sir.
question. Yes.
Oh, Mandisa steps in while she's playing Candy Crush. Let me play that back. Mandisa steps in as the referee.
Present moment, I assert that I am holding this coffee cup. The basis for that is the coffee
my
cup.
question.
I'm giving you an example that demonstrates
Please
the
let him
answer to your
finish, sir.
question. Yes. I'm giving you an example that demonstrates the answer to my question, which is the as best we can tell, facts about reality.
You don't understand the question.
No, I do. So whether or not I have whether or not I have a metaphysical worldview at all does not affect my ability to say there is a coffee cup.
You see how dumb he is? How can you state a fact that isn't context specific? How can you state a fact that is not worldview specific? Then the fact would exist in no worldview whatsoever. I mean, this is how dumb this guy is.
Up here because I am not talking about metaphysics. Earlier in this conversation, when I brought up cosmology, you said, no, metaphysics is beyond that. Well, fantastic. I'm
fantastic.
Holding a coffee cup.
Yeah, you're not understanding my question.
You're not understanding my objection
You're not understanding my nonsense.
to it.
No, I do understand your objection, and
All
I'm
right,
also
proceed.
telling you you're not understanding my question. Now, I'm asking you is what ultimately provides for the intelligibility of any stated fact. Whether you say you're holding your coffee cup or the green grass is blowing in the wind, I'm asking you, in order for a fact to be a fact, it will be ultimately derivative of something that is unconditionally non-dependent. Now,
I
if
don't
you
believe that
reject
assertion is true.
Do you reject that?
No, I
reject
don't
that?
accept it. There's a difference.
Okay, so in other words, when he invokes things that depend on the uniformity of nature doesn't derive and depend upon anything. Right? You see how dumb he is? You see, these people come on and they think they're atheist wise men answering, and they don't even understand basic metaphysical questions.
There's a difference.
Okay, no. Okay, not accepting it. Not accepting it means.
Let me ask.
Let me finish.
Yeah, no, because I believe that my answer was unclear just now. When you say, "Do I reject that?" Do you mean I accept the opposite, or do you mean I do not hold that to be true?
Either you accept,
or you do not accept. Yeah.
I'll try to explain it to you. Listen, when one makes a predication or a statement of fact, the metaphysical intelligence.
Look at Mandisa. Isn't she a great partner playing Candy Crush there?
Good interlocutor.
The whole time she's just sitting there playing with her phone.
Ability of any stated fact will either be in virtue of something that is unconditionally non-dependent. You either accept that or you don't accept it.
Give me a reason to accept that.
No, I ask you, do you accept it or not?
At the present moment, I do not hold that to be true, so I believe that's no.
That's an even worse position. Now, the reason
it's an even worse position than what?
I'll try to explain it to you. It's a worse position than affirming that the intelligibility of any fact that you
see. I'm overcomplicating the question because they're just not capable of getting this, right? So,
how would you shred it down?
All right. If I had to do it all over again, I would just start saying, since you lack belief in God, is anything impossible?
Nice.
Okay. It's short, it's sweet. It leaves no wiggle room for them to segue. Okay. So I'm positing God as the being metaphysically first, right? And possibility, impossibility encompasses everything. So in retrospect, I think my talking about this would be fine in a Discord hangout, but not for a call-in show. So now I would just simply just super dumb it down for two reasons. One, so it doesn't give them an opportunity to segue down unnecessary rabbit trails and hair splitting. And secondly, because they're not accustomed to this kind of metaphysical analysis in atheism. Their extent of their analysis is just, atheist cliches, slogans, and catchphrases. So I fault myself for the way that I presented it. Not that the content was faulty, but that it's too complicated for them.
You state is derivative of something that is unconditionally non-dependent.
Cool.
Now what you're saying is
persuade me that that's true.
No, you're not understanding it. Let me finish and I'll explain it to you.
Mandisa's having
the
another
self-cleaning water
here.
bottle.
Now, the intelligibility of any stated fact will either be in virtue of something that is unconditionally non-dependent.
See, this is way over their heads. Okay, that was my mistake. You have to ask these questions like you're dealing with children.
Dependent, or you will not accept that. So then let me ask you this question. Since you do not accept that intelligibility, since you do not accept that intelligibility depends upon something ultimate, where does intelligibility come for any stated fact with respect to your model of reality? Where does it come from?
So we have two problems. One, I don't believe that you've sufficiently defined intelligibility. I don't believe, as best I can understand, what you've described as intelligibility is a quality of a thing. It's a quality of a human's ability to understand something. And two, well, I have an explanation, and if you don't understand my explanation, provide your own, is a textbook example of an argument from ignorance logical fallacy. So
I haven't made any argument at all to you. All I've simply asked you is,
do you believe that your question supports the conclusion?
Me off.
Yes, I do.
There we go again.
Do you believe?
Yeah, yes, I do. Yes, I keep cutting you off.
That your question supports the conclusion that everything that exists that every assertion made must ultimately rest on your doodad over there. Do you believe that?
Your doodad? My doodad?
Oh yeah, then what is your basis in any way relates to the supporting your conclusion?
Okay, so you're done interrupting?
Are you going to answer my question?
No, well, I didn't finish my point. You see, you
All right.
rudely cut me off. Okay?
I'm very rude.
Now, the point is yeah, you are rude. And I'll tell you right now, I don't care if you're the host.
He's having a seizure.
Yeah, you are rude.
Host of the show, you're rude.
Oh,
Now,
my.
Oh, my. Here she is. She's not paying attention at all, playing on her phone. What is she just there for? Set decoration?
You see, you
All right.
rudely cut me off. Okay?
I'm very rude.
Now, the point is yeah, you are rude. And I'll tell you right now, I don't care if you're the host of the show.
Look at Mandisa. Look at the look on her eyes. Look at the look on her eyes.
Oh, no, he
You're
did.
rude.
Oh,
Now,
my.
Oh, my. She sounds like George Takei. Oh, my.
Question I meant, yeah, oh my. Now, the point is simply intelligibility for any stated fact will be in virtue of the system.
See, they're not understanding any of this. This is going way over their heads. They're simpletons. They don't understand what I'm talking about.
Mandisa understands, Darth.
What?
Mandisa understands? Come on.
No, I think both of them don't understand what I'm talking about. And I think what is even worse, nor do they even care about wanting to understand.
The model of reality that it comes from.
Just look at him with his hand on his face, just shaking his head like he's a schoolboy waiting outside of the vice principal's office to be reprimanded.
Oh my God.
That model of reality will have to have a foundation for the intelligibility of the system itself. So if you say, I don't need anything that is unconditionally non-dependent as the foundation of my system, then what you are admitting, whether you realize it or not.
Does anybody think at this very moment that Jamie is not screaming quietly in his mind going, when is this going to be over?
Is that the intelligibility of your assertions doesn't depend upon anything.
Yeah, so here's the problem is I haven't said that.
Okay, so does intelligibility for any stated fact in your model of reality, is it in virtue of an absolute or not?
No,
I don't have a conclusion one way or the other.
So you have no basis for your assertions then, is that correct?
No, I told you earlier what that was. Listen, you've been making the case.
No, the basis
You've been making the case. Now you're interrupting me, sir. Yeah, you've been making the case. You've been making the case that the intelligibility of any assertion depends upon your conclusion being true. Please make that case.
I'm asking you.
Yes.
How do you have intelligibility without a foundation for your system? Can you explain that?
I need you to define intelligibility.
Here we go with more hair splitting, right? More definitions.
Yeah, I thought
intelligibility.
Guy.
What?
I thought you're the definition trap guy. He's asking for more definitions.
Yeah. But you got to admit, Mandisa is, great eye candy. She's just sitting on the side with Jamie, sitting like a bump on the log, just going,
nodding her head with him.
Yeah, just nodding her head, playing Candy Crush, and just going, oh my.
Yeah.
It means that for any stated fact, it means something in reference to the foundation of your model of reality.
Reality. As can possibly be perceived.
See, this is the go-to phrase in all atheists because they don't know what else to say. When you ask them what is it that's fundamental, what is it that is ultimate, they go reality. But that's an incoherent answer because when you appeal to reality, all you're appealing to is what is called metaphysical pluralism, that all discrete particulars just simply exist in and of themselves, and they're eternal.
Can I ask really quick? What is a discrete particular, or is that just too complex of a question?
No, it just simply means that something that is a particular that is not a part of something else. It's intrinsically separate.
Non-contingent?
Yeah, a discrete particular. That's a term that I use. It's not a technical term. It's a particular that cannot be subdivided any further and it's complete. It's independent of any other particular that exists. Right.
So if you say reality, Darth, from what I've heard from you before, it would be absurd because you're including in that set things that are contingent.
That's right. Very good. Excellent. Yeah, because then reality would be the abstract set of all things. But if some things are contingent, then it's not coherent, because contingent things are not fundamental. They're not ultimate. So when they say reality, they're just saying metaphysical pluralism. In other words, the totality of existence is just simply an array or a plethora of unconnected, discrete particulars that exist in and of themselves, right? That whatever the most fundamental nature of these particulars are, they just exist in and of themselves without derivation, without dependency on anything, and that there's an array of them, right?
And then it would be what imposes the correlativeness between them, which would be like one of the many kind of thing.
That's right. So I have to admit, I think I did a bad job, because although for a Discord conversation that would be fine, it was too overly complicated. And you see, I've realized through the years that you can be spot on what you're saying, but if to the atheist, if they're not following along, if they don't either have the capability to understand, either through lack of interest or lack of understanding these issues, their eyes just glaze over, and then they just respond to one or two things unrelated to the central point of what you're trying to get across. So I think I'm more at fault in this conversation than they are, right? Because it's too complicated for them. I should have really.
You're being
really
extremely charitable.
I should have really dumbed this down for them.
Perceived by myself and other human beings.
Okay. Does the intelligibility of when you state facts, does the intelligibility depend upon the foundation of your model of reality?
No, it goes.
No,
the foundation
it depends on reality.
Usually,
They're totally clueless. I'm going to play the question back again. They're totally clueless in answering. They're deer in the headlights. Watch.
Ability of when you state facts, does the intelligibility depend upon the foundation of your model of reality?
No.
Does the intelligibility of facts depend upon the foundation of your model of reality? Well, the answer is, of course it does. It would be asinine to say otherwise.
I'm sorry.
Right?
I'm sorry. Can you just repeat the question?
Yeah.
Perceived by myself and other human beings.
Okay. Does the intelligibility of when you state facts, does the intelligibility depend upon the foundation of your model of reality?
No.
Does the intelligibility of any facts depend and derive upon the foundation of whatever your system is? Well, the answer
that should
is,
be a clear yes.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer. Of course it does. Because if something's the foundation of everything, then everything that is derives from that which is the foundation. Right? But this is going over their heads.
I mean, the best thing that they could say is that they just don't know.
No, but she just says no. All right.
No, it goes.
No,
the foundation.
it depends on reality.
Usually,
it depends on reality. Okay. See, this is when there are deer in the headlights. They don't know what to say.
Or Mandisa.
Yeah.
Maybe Mandisa's about to have a big brain moment, Darth. I don't know. I think you're underestimating her.
Or it could be a bodily reaction to, her trip to Taco Bell. Who knows?
An evidence base, meaning that
You're not understanding this.
No, I understand it at all. It sounds like you're word salading us, sir.
Yeah.
Wait, what was her answer? No, because what?
I'll play it back. But yeah.
Usually an evidence base, meaning that
You're not understanding this.
No, I understand it at all. It sounds like you're word salading us.
I'm word salading us.
I've
It's a
never
word
heard
salad.
Yeah.
Evidence is a contingency situation. The
It's also
foundation
not an
of your
absolute
body-
either, which you seem to be proving right now.
What is not an
You're
absolute?
not understanding it, man.
Yeah, my bad. Listen, it's a
What
combination.
is not an
that-
absolute?
It's because I didn't dumb it down, and they don't. These two don't have the intellectual capability to parse the metaphysical situation that I'm presenting to them. And I'm not really trying to give a word salad, but it was too complicated for them.
What she's saying is not absolute, man.
I don't know.
I'm not understanding you at all. You're absolutely right.
Oh, now you're admitting you don't understand.
Yeah, because you're playing Candy Crush on your phone.
Out of your head. I'll be
Yeah,
glad to
sure,
go over it again.
McDonald's. Oh, she gets a
Oh, no,
round of
no.
applause.
Round of
So
applause.
you're not understanding what I'm asking you for.
No.
I'm asking you to
Intelligibility-
defend your assertion that intelligibility depends on those things. The last time I said that.
So in other words, intelligibility for propositions doesn't depend upon the foundation of reality. Then why did you say reality then earlier?
Wait, can I ask real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Is there a way that you could show them how that's faulty by bringing up like some sort of a system and then being like, notice if you can't rely on this fundamental principle of the system, like a system that they'll agree with.
The very fact
Like-
that they're asking for justification proves that they need something foundational and unfalsifiable.
Exactly. Thank you. You're spot on right there. Whenever they ask for demonstrability, what I'm just simply saying is, how do you demonstrate fundamentally and foundationally in your system that intelligibility is actual, whether or not you believe it? You cannot disassociate and disconnect human intelligibility from the foundations of the world that you live in.
Right.
Either the prerequisites to human intelligibility reside in and by whatever is fundamental and foundational, or it does not. So, again, I should have really dumbed it down.
Said that you said what I'm doing is asking you a question. Please defend the case for your conclusion. Go.
Intelligibility requires a context and an ultimate context. Do you accept that?
I don't know what you mean by ultimate context.
Okay, context means the system from which predications and facts come. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
No, I do not.
Yes. Is that different than an ultimate context?
No. When you have a model of reality, a fact only means something with respect to the system that it is spoken from. Do you accept that?
I don't think that you have clearly stated what it is that you mean. So no, a statement about a fact.
Am I hearing a clear answer here? Either you accept it, or you don't accept it, or you don't understand what I'm saying.
About reality.
Let me show you.
Is only valuable in terms of how accurate it is to reality. Whether or not I have a metaphysical justification for my statement is irrelevant.
Yeah, you didn't understand what I just said. You're just being argumentative at this point. I'll explain it to you again. A fact only means
Listen, so
respect to the system.
If
you understand that? How can a fact mean something outside of any context?
Here, hold on a second, because my co-host is in the audience today and would love nothing more than to talk to you next week. And we're actually running up towards the end of the show.
That's Eric Kernboy Murphy, who, when I called in the next time, he refused to let me get my question out.
So he's freaking out in the audience right now.
Did you notice that Jamie put his hand up because he was going to come on camera?
Oh.
Even thank patrons. I will apologize for the level of rudeness that I've subjected you to.
Understood half of what I've said.
Yes, and if you would like to call back next week, I know that my co-host probably has spent more time researching this.
Are you unable to dealing with the question?
Are you unable to deal with the question? Yeah, you're the answer atheist. You should be able to answer these basic metaphysical questions, given the fact that you're atheist and this is a call-in show. You're the people with all the smarts, right?
In the meantime, I will be able to communicate with you over email and also to look up the history of metaphysics and philosophy on these topics and have a better, more informed conversation.
And meanwhile, in between, Mandisa will be practicing away furiously on Candy Crush.
Additionally, I apologize for the rudeness I've subjected you to in this call.
Running out the clock.
No, I'm not. I'm asking you to call back next week when we have even more time. I'm not running out the clock.
Okay, well,
I'm asking you to go to overtime.
How much time is left?
Well, to
Not
be clear,
enough time for you on
there's
this portion of the show.
Yeah, to
now,
be clear-
I'm not going to apologize for being rude here.
to be clear.
Now, she told me, didn't she?
She put you in your
You can be rude
place.
if you want.
I feel like a school child now.
So EF, there are 3 other callers, and a lot of them have been waiting since even before the show started.
Right. So because you want to be argumentative, you cut me off 6 or 7 times, and then you brush me off.
So right now, I'm trying to offer you the opportunity.
Yeah. Okay. I don't think there's any more we need to play.
He's so charitable. Incredible.
Well, that was fun.
Well, I take some of the blame for the failure of that phone call. I presented it in an overly complicated way that was, I think, beyond their capability of understanding. That's why you have to dumb it down. Why do you think that when I spoke to P.Z. Myers, I asked him a very precise and truncated question that did not allow him any leeway?
And even then, he tried to slither out.
Exactly. This is what I've learned when you deal with these people. You have to ask questions that are very narrowly focused and does not allow them to segue or to rabbit trail. Right? Like, for example, you could say, well, since you lack belief in God as being fundamental, what is fundamental that you do believe in to make sense of your world? That would be a simpler way of putting it. You see, they just take for granted that there's matter, energy, causality, laws of nature, and to them, it's just unthinkable to call that into question. It's just there. It just is. You can see this even in the debate with between Gordon Stein and Greg Bonson, where Gordon Stein says, "Well, that's just the way the universe is."
I was talking to somebody about that, and I was like, "So you just take it on faith? It's just an issue of faith?" And they had a massive emotional meltdown. The likes of it, no one has
Darth
ever
Dawkins
seen.
lingo, they had an acute hemorrhoidal attack.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, yeah, so it's just an issue of faith. It's a matter of faith for you. Why do you keep bringing up these matters of faith, right? You seem to be so against quote unquote faith, but they don't even understand what biblical faith means. So I mean, but I like to use that word against them just to annoy them.
I used to argue more about them defending the uniformity of nature, but I've moved slightly away from that by saying, what is it that institutes and secures it? It's because if there's nothing identifiable that institutes and secures it, then what is the point of them asserting that it is? Right?
So your argument's getting more and more meta.
It's getting more and more refined, realizing that the questions have to be dumbed down, they have to be pared down, they have not be overly wordy, which right there, I was overly wordy, right? And what they don't understand, their eyes glaze over, and they just will respond to only snippets, right? And they will pretend like they understand. So the questions have to be really truncated, really dumbed down, and be very, very narrowly focused.
To be honest, though, like if you were to not conduct that conversation the way you did and would have asked what you said you would ask, do you really feel like Mandisa still wouldn't have been looking at her phone and Jamie still wouldn't have been just ignoring half the things you're saying?
Yeah, we'll probably get much of the same. Much of the same.
Yeah, they're just closed-minded as
For the audience, because it's not just about them. The audience might find it better.
Mr. Definition Trap Guy.
Yeah.
I'm glad I reintroduced you to that one.
Gosh, that was painful listening to that. Ugh. But you see what a deer in the headlights he is? He's up there, Mr. Atheist Answer Man, and he doesn't even understand these basic questions.
I like him just yelling, now.
Now. Now. I promise tomorrow we'll go over Westbrook because that's better.
So excited.
I have a question for Charles in voice chat. Is that Thomas Hobbes in your profile pic?
No, that's Richard Dawkins wearing a Darth Vader helmet.
No, not you. I know that. I'm talking about the guy named Charles in chat, in voice chat.
With that creepy long hair, he looks like Steve McRae. Oh, we have a new atheist stream here, the Atheist Society of Calgary.
Yeah, I was just about to tell you about that.
Same picture,
Oh, if
or
you have
flip
any
it down to
questions,
reveal a different picture on the.
if you have any questions or
I saw
comments,
no
please add them
indications
below.
that my demeaned in any
During the
way.
Q&A
The
period,
environment was
make
familiar
sure
to
to
her.
speak to them.
The evaluation.
I'm not going to wait around. I must admit, though, I wouldn't want to be in a debate with Mandisa. Anybody who can answer atheist questions on live camera while at the same time playing Candy Crush is a formidable opponent.
That's
yeah,
true.
I mean, she could probably multitask like so well.
I mean, listen, she was concentrating on what I had to say.
Yeah.
She's able to do Candy Crush at the same time and at the same time say, oh my.
Oh my.
Oh my.
Yeah, and she even shut you down with that comment about it not being absolute.
Oh my.
Absolutely.
Tell me whether you think, did Mandisa sound like this?
Oh my. Oh my. Oh my. Oh my. Oh my. Oh my.
Any resemblance?
That was great.
Oh my. Oh, look at this. Skylar Fiction was talking trash about me. Do you guys know who Skylar Fiction is?
Name's familiar. Oh yeah, I remember modern day debate dude, right?
He's another atheist idiot. Okay, praise I am said that, but around the 34-minute mark, Skylar talks trash about you, Darth Dawkins, and how you're scared of him.
Scared of who? Of him?
Yeah. See, there's a small number of these dumb atheists who have been so abusive to me in the past that I just ignore them from here on out, and they automatically take it that because I don't respond to them, that I'm afraid of them. It's
Yeah, I feel
delusions
like
of
if they knew the
grandeur.
context of all that, they wouldn't think that you're like dodging. You know?
No, I've repeatedly stated that he was the second most obnoxious person I've ever spoken to online, privately, one-on-one.
Have you ever spoken privately to Godless Girl? Because I'm assuming she would be number one.
Actually, well, this is going back over 10 years on Pal Talk. This is she wasn't as crazy as she is now. I was able to speak civilly with her, but this is before she went into her slander and defamation mode that she's been going in the last couple of years. Let's listen to what Skylar Fiction has to say about me. Okay, at the 34-minute mark. Give me a second. All right, you guys want to hear Fatso Skylar Fiction verbally trashing me? That ought to be fun, right?
Yeah, why not?
Lucky you have me. Can you go somewhere with that? Daily Shadow. That's why is Darth Dawkins so scared? I don't know if he's terrified of me, but he won't come back on the show. I'll tell you that. And we've tried. He messaged me one day about Dr. Josh. I was like, come on in. You come in, talk to Dr. Josh. We'll keep it cool. He didn't do it.
I don't know what he's talking about.
Skylar Fiction.
I'll show you what kind of guy this is. After my first couple of interactions with him, one of his first videos that he did on me, he depicted me as a pile of steaming feces emoji. So does that show you the caliber of person that we're dealing with?
Yeah, this guy looks like he sells hot dogs on the street.
No, one of his first videos where he goes after me, he depicts me as a pile of feces emoji. I mean, so we're not dealing with somebody who's you know, the sharpest tack in the box. Okay?
Well, I mean, at least like he's super popular on YouTube. I mean, 472 views.
So what? You know that yeah, these are atheists. The atheists love watching atheist red meat YouTube streams. Okay,
Oh, I was
just
being
red meat.
sarcastic. I mean, that's trash.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, basically his shtick is when I've dealt with him in the past is he doesn't debate. He's just argumentative. He's just belligerent and argumentative. As I told you, and listen, as God is my witness, I'm telling you the truth. I'm not trying to say this to throw him under the bus, whatever. I understand these conversations can get heated and, you know, there can be over talking. But when I spoke with him, he was the second most obnoxious person. And the first person was a guy by the name of Factively from Pal Talk, who was just absolutely nuts. All right, let's continue.
Fiction. Are you still cutting edges? I'm still not. No longer. Unfortunately, I made him very angry, but I didn't do it on purpose. It was the way he was treating me, and I kind of built a little bit of a friendship. He's one of those Christians I used to actually talk to a little bit.
He's talking about you?
Yeah. And
no, I think he's talking about some guy Dingus or something.
And
oh, dude, screw this guy.
And now he just got, I'm not going to get into it, anything like that. But I'm just going to say is that he got real personal with me, and attacking me and saying things that just weren't true about me. And I tried to correct him, and I was like, no. I mean, I think he's a man who struggles with some things. To be frank with you, I think he's struggling with some demons that whatever. He's got a lot of anger inside. So
Okay, atheist.
Was he talking about me or the other guy?
I have no idea. I mean, if he's talking about you, that means you guys were like cool back in the day, because that's what he was saying.
he messaged me one day about Dr. Josh. I was like, come on in. You come in, talk to Dr. Josh. We'll keep it cool.
Yeah, I
did that?
I have no recollection of doing that. And after he was quite abusive after several times, I've never talked with him since because I personally consider him a clown and not very intelligent.
You know who he's talking about? Who's Dr. Josh?
He's some guy who's an atheist who got a PhD in, I think, Sumerian studies.
So is it possible that you did message him about it but forgot? It was like a while ago.
I think I would have remembered if I had. Right?
Why would he lie about that? It's so weird.
Probably. Well, I don't think he's lying. I think he misremembers. I think what happened was, he knew that I wasn't talking with him because of his abusiveness, and so he was looking for fodder for his channel. He was looking for content, and he knows that my name draws people to view it. And so he wanted me to come on and interact with Josh or whatever. He sent me a message. And I think I probably responded, if my recollection is correct, something like, well, who is that? Or something like that. That would have been the extent of anything.
So really, he should have said, I asked him a question about Dr. Josh.
He contacted me to appear on his show and interact with this Dr. Josh guy several times.
Is that on YouTube?
Not on video. It was probably. I think it was on Discord. Okay.
No one recorded it.
No, it might have been. It might have been. I don't know if it was under this account. Let me just see. I don't think it was under this account. Let me look. No, it was under a previous account that I had that got deleted by Discord because I sent out too many invites. So I would no longer have that message. But I can almost assure you that if I did respond to him, it was only like, well, who is Josh or something like that. But I didn't unsolicited in an unsolicited way contact him because I consider him a clown. You know, he's not somebody that I have high regard for. All right, let me just play this back.
You didn't do it. Skylar Fiction, are you still in contact with engineers? I'm still not. No longer.
Okay, so Praise AM said that he was throwing me under the bus, but I'm not hearing that because he's now talking about Ed Dingus, I think. He's not talking about me. Let's play for a couple of minutes and see if he goes back to me.
Unfortunately, I made him very angry, but I didn't do it on purpose. It was the way he was treating me. And I kind of built a little bit of a friendship. He's one of those Christians I used to actually talk to a little bit. Yeah. And off air. And now he just got, I'm not going to get into it, anything like that. But I'm just going to say is that he got real personal with me, and attacking me and saying things that just weren't true about me. And I tried to correct him, and I was like, no. I mean, I think he's a man who struggles with some things. To be frank with you, I think he's struggling with some demons that, whatever. He's got a lot of anger inside. So, yeah, Brian Stevens, I'm glad to see you here, buddy. I wonder if there's a video. We got 75 people watching, which thank you for watching, even though I haven't been on in months. Thank you. Let's do this. Give me a sec. Yeah, he got a little trouble.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, this guy is annoying. If you streamed on YouTube, you would get like, I don't even know, like you'd at least be in the thousands.
I agree with you.
Like Atheist would be watching. So.
Yeah. If I did it on topics, yeah.
Hey, Darth, if you ever want, well, I don't know much about it, but I know a lot about certain things. If you need help, getting on YouTube and starting a channel and all that, and just reach out. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
I appreciate that. If I need your help, I'll contact you. I have a couple of accounts under different usernames, but I don't have videos uploaded.
Is there anything that would help to get you to do that, like to start something on YouTube? Anything that we could do to help?
Well, it's a time thing, okay? Even though people say he's on there all
Oh,
hours
yeah.
of the day. Yeah, well, I'm on here while I'm working during the day,
Yeah.
and it's either that or I can put on the radio in the background while I'm working, so I can chew gum and skip at the same time. And I'm regularly working while I'm on Discord. It's a time thing, okay?
Well, I mean,
So
like, the thing is, like, even if you took out, like, 1 hour or, like, half an hour sometime in the day for that, I think it would be worth it.
yeah, I'm thinking about it. It's not. Okay. Let's see. You'd be amazed at how many messages I get every day.
Probably not.
I got a lot of hostile messages, a lot of hate mail.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Somebody said, "Watch me here on Talk Heathens." All right, let's see. I'll be right back.
He doesn't even have to show his face if he has a YouTube channel. He can just do talk. He doesn't have to show
Yeah,
his face.
he's already got the, let's just say, celebrity. Like,
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
just taking advantage of it.
right.
I really think he's one of the few, like, Christian apologists that actually, like, hold their ground and, like, make the other party, like, seem like they're losing the debate.
Christian apologetics is new to me. The term Christian apologetics is new to me. I mean, I've been told to read C.S. Lewis, but I still haven't read any of his books. But Christian apologetics is like uncharted territory for me. I'm just learning about it through Darth.
The same.
Apologetics is just simply defending the faith, and everybody is called to apologetics, not just people who are, quote, having degrees. Everybody is called to apologetics. Even children who are Christians can do apologetics. It's giving an answer to every man that hope that is within you, but it also it can be expanded than that, where in that apologetics that we're destroying all speculations and every lofty thing that raises itself above the knowledge of God. So I'm reading a book right now. Here, I'll tell you the title of it. Just give me. Give me a second. It's called Apologetics by the Book. Okay. If anyone wants a copy, I'll be glad to share it with you. I haven't finished the book, but so far it's been pretty good. In that book, he says apologetics is not just something for the elite or the educated. Every Christian is called to make a defense of the faith, right? Give me a second. There you go, Archangel or Archangel.
Thanks.
By the way, there are certain pages that are highlighted or underlined. If you don't care for my underlining in the first portion of the book that I'm reading, you can, in any PDF reader, you can delete those highlights. Okay.
All right.
I haven't finished the book, so I can't comment on the part that I haven't read, but so far it's pretty good. And if you want more books on apologetics, I'll be glad to share them with you. I have a lot of them.
It'll take me a while to digest this one. I'm not a big reader. I'm a video.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So when you get done with that, just contact me or anyone else of the regulars in here. Here, I'll send you one more that's pretty easy reading. It's called Every Thought Captive.
All right. Thanks.
Every Thought Captive is probably one of the best encapsulated representations at a very easy reading level of presuppositional apologetics. I've noticed there's a couple of sites out there, Reformed Wiki in particular, that are taking some of Bonson's videos now that are open source, and they're really doing a wonderful job making the listening and the viewing a pleasure by adding graphics to it as you're watching it. It's I think it's called Reformed Wiki, and just look for the Bonson videos. They're doing a superb job of it.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Very, very impressed with the graphical element that they're doing there. So, because you're not just looking at just a video of Greg Bonson, being a bobblehead, while he's talking. I don't mean any disrespect by that, but they put him in a small circle window and then they do animated graphics while he's talking. They've done a superb job of it. All right, let's see. No, there's no good atheist shows out there.
Maybe there are some atheists in our midst.
That would be a great title for a new upcoming scary movie. Atheists in our midst.
Yeah.
Return of the Prevaricators, you say that.
The atheist, they're among us.
They're here.
Okay, it looks like we do have a couple. Johnny P. Angle and Callie Opoli.
Johnny P. Angel, that name rings a bell. Are you the one who appears on the Atheist Experience? Johnny.
Apparently, he's not very absolute.
Well, yeah, Johnny P. Angel, are you the one? Oh, hold on. This isn't having audio problem. All right, let's see. All right. No, that's not working. Johnny P. Angel, are you there? Are you the same Johnny P. Angel who appeared on is it Talk Heathens or the Atheist Experience? Or is that somebody who's an imitator? I either that's an imposter or it's the real one and he's afraid to come to his microphone. Can somebody message him and see if he's there? Because if he's one of these answer guys on was it Talk Heathens? He was on with I think V LeBlanca in a glitter jacket. Was it yesterday or the day before? Yeah, this is probably an imposter because I don't think Johnny P would be, if he came in here, he would be this shy. Because if it's the real Johnny P Angel from Talk Heathens, I would love to talk with him. There we go.
It is. Sorry. Yeah. No, I got invited last week, and I was in the middle of a workout, and I'm like, I'm going to listen to see what's happening on Atheist Helpline.
Great. So you're the same one who appeared with V LeBlanca?
Yeah, V LeBlanca. That's right.
Okay. Oh, excellent. Good. Because I want to talk with some of you ACA people because I've been banned by Matt Dillabloviator. So good. I'm glad that you have the courage. Well, I think it's an apt moniker. So could you tell us about your atheism?
I've just never really been convinced of any God claim. Okay. I know it's not profound or anything, but I grew up Catholic.
Do you mind if we record this? Do you mind if we record this?
I don't really care. I don't really care. Yeah, go ahead. But I'm not going to be on for a long time. I just wanted to pop in and say hi. I was listening for a little bit, but I really am in the middle of a workout, and I wanted to hear what kind of stuff is talked about here. So,
well, we do a wide variety of stuff. We have serious discussions, debates. We have sometimes where we just laugh. Sometimes we critique atheist videos. Supreme Leader, are you recording this? For my recording software is not working very well. I'm getting too much feedback. Okay, so your position is you're not convinced. Well, people who are not convinced about God's existence include people who deny God's existence and people who lay a claim that they're neutral toward God. They neither deny nor affirm. Which one of those two positions would fall under your category of being unconvinced?
I am concerned about the existence of God. I don't know if it's knowable. I don't think that I would go so far as to say that God does not exist. So I've
so you're
used
neutral?
the term like agnostic atheist. I guess I'm neutral, but I'm there are certain God claims that are probably not. I would go so far as to say I would say are untrue.
Do you call yourself an atheist?
I do.
Okay, so you call yourself an atheist, but you're neutral toward the existence of God.
I'm neutral as to the existence of God, but I am not neutral as to my belief.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay, so do you believe that it's necessary to reference God as the necessary precondition of all facts?
Do I believe it's necessary?
Yeah, do you believe it's necessary to reference God as the precondition of all facts?
No. No, I don't. I don't have that belief.
Okay. Well, since you hold that belief, we can take a look at what that logically and necessarily entails, right? So since you hold that belief, that logically and necessarily entails that God cannot exist in your world, right?
Yeah.
God cannot coexist with one or more facts that do not necessitate referencing him, right? So do you understand that so
Well,
far?
do you have a written out like flow chart or an outline or a source material that
No,
I could examine?
no.
No.
Okay. Well, it's really quite simple, right?
Sure.
In a world where God is, all facts would necessitate referencing God. In a world where God does not exist, no facts would necessitate referencing God. So you believe positively that there are one or more facts that don't necessitate referencing God. What logically and necessarily follows from that is that God cannot logically coexist in your world.
No, I
So
wouldn't go
you
so I wouldn't go that far. No, I don't think that I've made that conclusion. You're saying that I'm making that conclusion. I haven't thought
I
that
didn't.
out.
I didn't say
Yeah,
that
yeah.
you made that a conclusion.
Yeah, yeah.
What I said
Yeah.
is that the belief that you have affirmed logically necessitates the falsity of God, whether you realize that or not.
Okay,
Right?
well then I don't realize that, so I'd have to examine that claim
Okay.
or that assertion and then
Okay.
do my own research on it. And I'm fine with
Can
doing it. And if you've got some source material, I'd love to read it. But as
okay.
far as something as important as the, logical necessities and all that, I'm not going to affirm or deny anything like that. That's
Okay.
not my bag. But
So
if
we're
you
on
have
the
something, please send it to me.
yeah. So just so we're on the same page, when we talk about God, we're talking about that which would be eternal and the creator of all facts and a mind. Okay. Now, God, whatever facts would coexist with God, by definition, they would logically necessitate referencing God because they stand in causal relations to God as the source.
Because he's the one who
So,
created them all.
yeah. So, in a world, if one fact alone necessitates referencing God as the precondition, then it logically and necessarily follows that God coexists within that world. If, on the other hand, somebody holds that there are one or more facts that do not necessitate referencing God, then it logically and necessarily follows that God cannot coexist in that world. It logically and necessarily follows. It's ironclad. So when you affirm that it's not necessary to reference God as the precondition of one or more facts, then that logically entails, whether or not you realize it, it logically and necessarily entails that God cannot and does not coexist in that world.
I think what I said is that I don't hold a belief that God necessarily entails anything. I didn't say that God doesn't. I just don't hold a belief that he does. Again,
The
if you want to,
definition of God entails that.
okay, well, that's nice, but if you want to submit to me something written down so I can analyze it, I'd be happy
Well, I'm
to look
explaining
at
it to you right now. Since you're an
That's
atheist answer
nice, but I'm
man,
not. But
yeah.
I'm not.
Since you're
Am
an
I the
since you
atheist
yeah.
answer man?
Well, don't you
You came to the wrong
appear?
guy.
Don't you
Came to the wrong guy.
don't you appear answering questions on
I
Talk
do.
Heathens and the Atheist Experience? Well, then you should
Now and
be
again.
able to. Then you should be able to comprehend this. This is not very complicated. I
Well, most of
explained
the
this
time,
principle.
it's
Would you
not
not
that I'm
overtalk me,
offering
please?
answers. Most of the time is that people are asserting things,
Mm-hmm.
and
Okay. Well,
I'm
you just
looking at it
asserted
from my own
something.
perspective.
Okay.
I did.
Now,
No,
yeah, you
you
did. You
asked
assert.
me if I had a belief, and I said I don't have the belief.
That's right.
It's
That's
not
an
that
assertion.
profound.
That's an assertion that you believe that it is
Okay,
not
no,
necessary. Well, you
no,
won't let me
that's not true.
finish.
That's not true.
Why are you being rude?
Oh, come on. I'm doing planks while we're talking.
Okay. Now, if you believe that one or more facts do not necessitate referencing God as the precondition,
If.
it necessitates God cannot coexist in that world.
Okay.
It's unescapable. It's not something that's disputable. Now, you can pretend that it doesn't logically and necessarily follow, but it necessarily follows. In a world where God exists, all facts would necessitate referencing God because they stand in causal relations to God. In a world where God does not exist, then no facts would necessitate referencing God. Okay? So you have affirmed that
No, I haven't.
you have affirmed that there are one or more facts that
No,
do
I
not
haven't.
necessitate.
No, I
Okay.
haven't.
I asked you if you believe that it's necessary
I don't
to
have a belief. I don't have a belief.
Would you not overtalk me?
Would you not make claims that I've said things when I
Okay.
haven't said it?
Did you say that you believe that it's not necessary to reference God as the precondition of all facts?
I don't have a belief on that front. I'm sorry, I just don't.
Okay, no. What you're now doing is you're prevaricating. I asked you in the beginning, would you not overtalk me, please? I asked
When
you
did I
in the
just
beginning,
overtalk you?
right, just like you're
I'm
doing
moving
now.
from plank position to side plank
Okay.
position. I'm sorry.
I don't want to have to server meet you. Okay. See, this is a tactic
How
that
about
certain
this? I'll
atheist
server mute
calls.
myself. I'll
Okay.
server mute myself.
Would you
Here,
not
I'm gonna
overtalk
mute
me,
myself.
please? Okay. Now, you stated I asked my opening question to you. Do you believe that it is not necessary to reference God as the precondition of all facts? And you said you believe it's not necessary. So I'll ask you again. Do you believe that it is not necessary to reference God as the precondition of all facts?
You have a belief in it. I'm sorry.
I didn't hear what you said.
No. Do I believe the alternative? No. I don't have a belief in this
You're
stuff.
you're breaking up. Okay. Did you hear my question?
Yes.
Do you believe that it is not necessary to reference God as the precondition of all facts?
I don't believe anything on this subject. I'm sorry.
You're being completely disingenuous here. I've watched you on talk. Parakeet, please. I don't want him to think that he's being dogpiled. Okay. I've watched you on answering these questions on shows. All right. So you should be able to respond to me like an adult. Now, I asked you earlier. I'll ask the question again. Do you believe that it is not necessary to reference God as the precondition of any facts?
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
I don't have a belief on this front.
Okay, that is
So
not
no.
an answer.
Do you believe?
No,
I don't believe anything of the sort.
Okay, you're being. I want everyone in the room to know this is a guy who hangs out with Matt Dillahunty. He hangs out on Talk Heathens, and he gets on these shows like he's a person who's genuinely searching for the truth. You are being deceitful right now. Okay, I'm a grown man. All right. I'm almost 60 years old. You're not fooling me by your prevarication. All right. See, you're doing your little shtick right now. You see, this is the kind of caliber
is for prevarication. Jenny P. Prevarication Angel.
Yeah. So this is what they do.
I was just listening to your spiel while I was doing working out. So go on, keep talking.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Either you believe that it's necessary to reference God, or you believe it's not necessary to reference God. Which belief do you hold to?
That's a false bifurcation.
No, it is not. No, it's a true dichotomy. No, it is a true dichotomy, what I have presented you.
And I asked you to submit to me.
I'm doing it right
outline
now.
On this.
I'm actually giving to you orally. See, this is the caliber of people that they have on the atheist experience. The guy comes on here, right? He comes in the room and he's acting like an evasive teenager, like he doesn't understand what I'm saying. This is deceit.
Darth, do you want me to make up a belief that I don't have?
No,
Is that what you want me to do?
You are being deceitful right now.
How am I being deceitful?
Listen carefully. Either you believe that it is necessary to reference God for all facts or not. That's a true dichotomy. Are we clear?
No, we're not clear.
It's a true dichotomy, A or not A. Do you understand that?
Darth, if you want to submit to me a written argument,
so you
I
don't
will
want
be
to have a
happy to look
conversation
it
like
over.
an adult. I'm
I
explaining
popped
it to
in
you right
just to hear
now.
what you guys were talking about, Darth. I'm in the
Right.
middle of a
Yeah.
workout, for
Well,
God's sakes.
we had an atheist experience celebrity, and we would like to talk one who pops in here. Now,
Wouldn't
I
go
have
that
given
far.
you the
I wouldn't
true
go that far,
dichotomy.
Darth Dawkins.
Okay.
I
Well,
wouldn't
you've
go
shown
that
up a
far.
number of times on those streams. Now, it's a
Well, I'm
true
glad that you
dichotomy.
send you an
Either
autograph,
you-
but I don't think it's
okay,
going to be
you
worth
know what?
anything to
I
you.
don't want to have to server mute you. Okay, you're being
Go ahead and server mute me.
You're
Darth.
being
Go ahead.
extremely
It
rude.
won't
This is the
hurt
caliber.
my feelings.
It's not intended to hurt your feelings. It's so that
Well,
you
it
will
won't
stop
hurt my
being
feelings.
rude.
If you
Okay,
feel it
now,
would preserve the quality of your chat, then server mute me.
Can
Go
you
ahead.
stop? Can you stop over talking me, please?
Sure. Go ahead.
Okay, is that a reasonable adult request?
I should think so, yeah.
Yeah, then stop over talking me. Now, either you believe it's necessary to reference God as the precondition of all facts, or not. It's A or not A. That is a true dichotomy that I have presented you with. Okay, are we clear?
That's about all that's clear.
Okay,
That's it.
so I have presented you with a true dichotomy. Do you agree?
No, I don't agree to anything because I haven't had a chance to review your argument.
I'm not making you an argument. I'm asking you what you believe. Okay, I haven't made an argument to you. Right? Now, you're being argument. You know what?
To listen to you.
Okay, now you know what? I don't want to have to do this, but I'm going to treat you like I would any other user in here. If you continue to be obnoxious, I think that you, sir, are a complete fraud and a farce. You show up on Talk Heathens. You show up on Talk Heathens. You show up on the Atheist Experience, and you participate as a co-host to answer questions about atheism and religious belief. But now when I'm trying to have a minimalist adult interaction with you, you are literally acting like an obnoxious 15-year-old. So is that the kind of caliber of co-host that
May I speak, Darth?
Are you gonna stop being obnoxious?
May I speak, Darth?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So you're doing a little gaslighting here, and I'm not going to fall for it. So you keep talking, and I'm going to mute myself.
What did I gaslight about? I'm waiting. What did I gaslight about? I accused you of acting in a non-adult fashion. How is that gaslighting? If you accuse me of gaslighting when I'm not gaslighting, that's gaslighting on your part. Now, I gave you a true dichotomy. Now, what's interesting is this, is that when I ask this question of atheists, right, it's curious that a lot of them want to run away from the question. P.Z. Myers did it, okay? Lawrence Krauss wanted to run away from it. Graham Oppie ran away from it. Philippe Leon ran away from it. And other atheists run away from this true dichotomy. Right? Because you don't want to be transparent about what your position actually is. You just want to engage in just spewing out your atheist cliches and catchphrases. You know very well that I presented you with a true dichotomy. Either you believe that it's necessary to reference God as the precondition of all facts or not. Now, if it is not, as you actually affirmed in the beginning, then that means that you believe that it's not necessary to reference God, right? So that characterization would be an unpacking of the not portion of the question of the true dichotomy. But because you don't want to commit either way, because then you would have to answer for what you're affirming, you want to engage in interruptions and double talk. It's that simple. Now, if you can get on Talk Heathens and the Atheist Experience with Matt Dillahunty, who refuses to let me call in, and he refuses to even dialogue with me on the modern day debate, at least one of his co-hosts could do that, as an adult. But so far, you haven't showed adult behavior. But you've made it very clear, right? Whether you want to deny it or not, since you don't believe that it's necessary to reference God as the precondition of all facts, then the position you would hold to is that let me rephrase that. Since you don't believe it's necessary to reference God as the precondition of all facts, then you believe it's not necessary to reference God. And that entails that God cannot logically coexist. And that means that your affirmation that it's not necessary to reference God as the precondition of all facts is going to require a defense of what it logically entails, which is that God cannot logically coexist in such a world. But you just want to play this little game where you're unconvinced, right? But your claim to being unconvinced doesn't hold water. Now, so I'll ask you one more time. Do you believe that it is not necessary to reference God for facts? Do you believe that? Yeah, so what we see here on full display is a regular atheist who goes on Talk Heathens. He goes on the Atheist Experience with Matt Dillabloviator, answering people's phone calls. But when he comes into an area that he cannot control, and he's asked a legitimate question about his atheism, right? He totally
and all the facts he asserts. He continuously asserts facts.
When he's asked a very clear and circumspect question, a non-convoluted question, he prevaricates, and then he overtalks, he interrupts, he's unruly, and then he just shuts down and closes his microphone. So I think we've shown to the listening audience what a fake, a phony, and a fraud that you, Johnny P. Angel, are. And I think it's laughable that you do these live streams on Talk Heathens and Atheist Experience with Matt Dillabloviator, yet you come in here and you act like a little obnoxious, snot-nosed little child. You atheists are fakes, phonies, and frauds. And when you're asked a legitimate question, you act like children. Yeah, well, if I was you and I couldn't answer the question that I was on the receiving end, then I can understand why you just shut down and you become catatonic. Okay. Anybody care to comment? Because he's too chicken to come to the microphone and have an adult interaction. Yet he's got brass balls to go on Talk Heathens and the Atheist Experience and answer questions from callers, doesn't he?
I mean, I think it was quite clear he was attempting to cause problems from the outset. And he was just looking for an excuse not to even participate in the conversation. He was looking for an excuse not to have to answer these tough questions. I mean, you present him a true dichotomy, and he tried to squirm his way out of it. So it's obvious the game this guy was playing. He wasn't fooling anyone by it.
Yeah. Does anybody think that if he was live on Talk Heathens or the Atheist Experience and I called in and had the opportunity to speak with him, do you think he would shut down like this and not talk any further? Or would he try to use his ability to host the show to try to circumvent the dialogue in a direction that he felt that he could manipulate? But when he cannot manipulate the parameters of the conversation, he acts like a fool, he acts like a complete jerk, and then he shuts down his microphone like the coward that he is. So I hope I don't expect to see you on Talk Heathens or the Atheist Experience again, because you're a gutless coward, right? And I have no compunctions about telling you this. An absolute spineless little coward. I asked you a legitimate question, and you're employing deceptive verbal responses in order to evade the legitimate question. I gave you a true dichotomy, and then you lie that it's not a true dichotomy when everyone in the room who has a brain understands I gave you a true dichotomy.
We never
This is what
presented the
the
third leg either.
yeah.
This is almost
So
how these conversations go. You know, they start off cordial, and then we start getting to the meat of the things. We start getting to the meat of everything, and you start to tear down one layer after another to their position. Then they resort to these kinds of tactics. It almost never fails.
yeah, now you can speak uninterrupted if you want to come back on your mic, and I'll give you whatever amount of time you want to speak. But I think you've totally wimped out, just like PZ Myers did the other day. I asked PZ Myers a similar question, and he got a hemorrhoidal attack over this, and he basically said he didn't want to talk about it. And you're doing exactly the same kind of thing. See?
Don't question me, bro.
No response. This guy appears alongside Matt Dillahunty answering people's calling questions, but he won't dialogue with me. Why is that, folks? Right? Am I being abusive to him? Have I been rude to Johnny P. Angel?
It's the exact opposite.
All right, I gotta switch my headset.
Wait, they answer questions on that show? Since when?
Nice. But yeah, it was really the exact opposite. He was belligerent the entire time, cutting off and interrupting Darth multiple times, man. And this is the same thing they accuse Darth of on a regular basis. But more often than not, Darth was just trying to explain something, and then he would interject and then pretend like he's actually participating in the conversation, when in reality it's just a little shtick. It's just a tactic. When they're in a place where they fundamentally cannot control the flow of the conversation, this is what they have to do. And then he was, again, like I was saying earlier, he was trying to give himself an excuse not to even participate in the conversation. Now he's like, I'll server mute myself. He's trying to take himself out of the conversation.
Yeah, I told him he will have uninterrupted time to respond, but he knows that he's going to be incumbent upon him to actually answer my questions. Notice the total dodging. He can go up on Talk Heathens. He can go up on the Atheist Experience and spontaneously be the Atheist Answer Man alongside Matt Dillahunty, right, and other hosts, from the ACA. But when I'm talking with him live, right? Oh, can you submit a flow chart to me so I can examine it?
Darth, why didn't you ask him if he's willing to assert God is the necessary precondition of all the facts he asserts?
I could have done that, but as we see, we're not dealing with somebody who is an honest adult. He's a phony. He goes on these live YouTube streams, being the Atheist Answer Man, answering questions, but he comes in on a platform where he can't, control the conversation, and he's being treated fairly, right? Now, I'm criticizing him, and I think justly so. He can't manipulate the conversation, so he completely straps on a parachute and bails out. Look, I keep on telling you people, these atheists are fakes, phonies, and frauds. They only want to have interactions that they can tightly control, so they can make themselves look good. I mean, you all heard his responses to me. They were deceptive. They were deceitful. He was rude. He was obnoxious. He was evasive.
Who did you just speak to, Darth?
Johnny P. Angel, one of the Atheist Answer Men that appear on Talk Heathens and on the Atheist Experience with Matt Dillabloviator. Okay. He was deceptive, he was manipulative, he was argumentative, and he was rude, and he was obnoxious. And then he finally shuts off his microphone, and he was told that he can have whatever amount of time to respond uninterrupted. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, without any interruption.
Darth, you want to
Right?
give an analysis of when he says, "I don't have a belief either way," what the problem with
Yeah.
that is?
Yeah, what he's trying to fall back on are the atheist catchphrases. Oh, I don't have a belief. Well, either you believe that it's necessary to reference God as the precondition, or you believe it's not necessary to reference God. Okay? If I say, do you believe it's necessary to reference God as the precondition of all facts? And somebody says, no. And that's exactly what he said.
So they
When you
lack a
say
positive belief.
right,
They lack
that's
a
right.
belief.
So then if you say no to that question, then what it does reveal is that you believe that it's not necessary, right? He's not oblivious or taking an agnostic position on the question. Either you believe that it's not necessary to reference God, or you believe that it is necessary to reference God. It's a true dichotomy. The only way that you could evade the dichotomy is if you had a frontal lobotomy. Because you see, he doesn't like the very narrow parameters of the question, nor does he like the implications. You'll notice he had no trouble answering the question, but the moment I began unpacking what the logical entailment of the answer was, that it logically and necessarily entails that God cannot logically coexist, in the same world where you believe that it's not necessary to reference God for facts, he realized, if what I affirm that it's not necessary to reference God entails the falsity of God, well, I'm an atheist who tries to pretend that I'm unconvinced. I phrase it that way because I don't want to defend what I really believe, that God is false. So this is why he categorically denied the logical entailment, right? It makes
I know.
perfect sense.
I noticed that he made his exit right around the time you conveyed to him the true dichotomy.
When
Not
I
too long
no,
after that, he was pretty much
well,
done.
no, it was a little bit before that. You're close. He decided to jump ship when I explained to him the logical entailment to what his answer was, and that the logical entailment was logically entailed and necessary. It was ironclad, right? Then why do you think he goes, oh, do you have a flow chart? Okay, do you have something in paperwork you can send me? Isn't it amazing that a guy like this, who regularly shows up on Talk Heathens and on the Atheist Experience with Matt Dillahunty, that he can't think and talk spontaneously? Oh, he's in the middle of a workout. Well, then you shouldn't have come to your microphone at all. Look, I have no hesitation,
Exactly.
and I'm not trying to be rude. Johnny P. Angel is a fake and a phony and a fraud, just like the rest of the crew down there at the ACA, where they hide behind their microphones.
You have a flow chart for that?
Now, Johnny P. Angel, I send a warm welcome to any one of your ACA members out there, including Matt Dillahunty, for them to come in here, and we can appoint a strictly fair and judicious moderator that will give us both anyone you want from the ACA, right? Because we know what happens if we call in to the Atheist Experience or Talk Schmeedens, okay? What we'll get is a complete runaround and control and abuse. So send a warm welcome to every single one of your atheist apologists at the ACA, that they will come in here. They will have uninterrupted, no cross talk time on the mic, and they can come in and they can defend the coherence and intelligibility of atheism.
That's
Okay?
rare.
Yeah, they're not going to do it. Okay. And by this guy did come in here, but we saw that he completely folded like a cheap lawn chair, just like PZ Myers did, just like Lawrence Krauss did. Same thing that Graham Oppie did. Okay. When I started questioning Graham Oppie, he didn't want to discuss it. All right. Because if you ask questions of a narrow range and parameters that are inescapable, that you can't double talk about, okay, then they don't want to talk it. If they can't whip out their atheist cliches and slogans, then they don't want to interact.
And he's like, I'm working out this, I'm working out this. He ain't let the that workout routine cut you off multiple times and overtalk you all day long.
Yeah, he was look, Johnny P. Angel is a fake, a phony, and a fraud. And if you want to see what this guy is like, Mr. Glitter Boy, go on to the last episode of Talk Heathens, and you can see this guy. He's been on the Atheist Experience and Talk Heathens multiple times, answering questions from the audience about religion, the supernatural, atheism. But he comes in here where he can't control it, or he doesn't have some sidekick that can manipulate the conversation to protect them, and he folds like a cheap lawn chair. Am I being too harsh? No, I'm not. I think I'm spot on.
Yeah, there's terrible communication.
These people are an embarrassment. They are frauds, okay? And by fraud, I don't mean ethical or financial. I mean they are representing themselves as wanting to believe in God. They're searchers of the truth. They want to seek reason. Now, did I not try to reason with him? Does anybody in here, and I'm willing to take criticism, is there anyone in here who listened to that interaction with that guy? Was I not fair with him? I was not rude to him.
Except for not giving him a flow chart. That's all.
All right.
That was so funny. I'm sure he's just gonna ask for a flow chart now every time a theist calls into the Talk Heathens or Atheist Experience. You got a flow chart, dude.
Darth, you were interrupting his planking.
You were trying to reason with him, and he was on board until he realized where the line of reasoning went. What necessarily followed.
Once I revealed to him that what he had affirmed logically and necessarily entailed, as soon as he understood that what he had agreed to logically entailed the falsity of God, that's when he mentally bailed on the conversation and decided to go to plan B to obstruct the conversation,
and lie about what he previously said.
To lie about it. And wait a minute, and here's my favorite word, prevaricate.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And he thought by pretending to be a stand-up comedian and make light of it was going to help him. It didn't. It made him look further like a deceptive fool that he was.
You could remove the word belief from the question. You could simply say, when you assert facts, as you're asserting them, do you mean them to be that they reference God or not? Do you mean them in the sense that they reference God or not?
I agree with you.
Focused on how he means the facts he's asserting.
I agree with you, but doesn't it show you the level of raw deception that these people will resort to in adult conversation or interaction on this issue?
Yep.
That we have to constantly refine our questions to deal with their prevarication. This is disgusting.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Don't get me wrong, fellas. I'm not against precision. Don't get me wrong, guys, but it's a dang shame we got to go to this level of precision and construction to literally shut down any attempt for them to obfuscate. It helps us and helps our apologetic become more sharp. So it has a sort of positive side effect. But at the same time, though, I think if you have a basic level of charitability and you follow these instructions in good faith, then you generally know more often than not what's being asked and what's being intended. The fact that we have to razor sharp construct these questions in this way to basically prepare for any sort of obfuscation because they lack being charitable, they lack coming in good faith, they just lack one to entertain this conversation on a legitimate, honest, and truthful level.
Yeah, the hair splitter's ready.
It's just that's all I got to say on that. It's just beyond ridiculous what we have to do just to make the conversation even possible and to keep them from escaping the incoherency of their position.
Yeah. Like I said, keep this in mind. He regularly appears from time to time on Talk Heathens and with the Atheist Experience with Matt Dillabloviator, right? And I was truly surprised. I thought for sure that this was an imposter, but it turned out not to be. Now, if anyone wants to criticize me in here for the way I handle that, I will keep my mouth shut. Okay. I will not find fault with you. Right. But I don't think that I treated him unfairly in any respect. Did I harshly criticize him? Yes, I did. And I felt that he was entirely deserving of it. Now, I will shut up. You're not going to get in trouble. Nothing. Does anyone in here think that I was unreasonable or treated him in any way in an unfair manner?
You are much more assertive than that man was. That man is kind of timid, and you
Now
kind
turn off your music.
Sorry.
You know what? If he didn't want to talk, he shouldn't have come to the microphone. Right? The only reason why he stopped talking is because he realized he couldn't intellectually and in a truthful manner evade the logical entailment of what he had affirmed. That's why he bailed in terms of responding truthfully, and then he finally bailed in terms of actually talking on the microphone.
It was his own crap moment.
So here we have another champion of atheism from YouTube. So, but we got to give him credit. At least he's one of the rare YouTube atheists that has the I'll say the intestinal fortitude to come in here. At least he came in and talked for a few moments, and I'm glad he did, because you all saw what a fake this guy is as a representative of the atheist community. Well, I don't have anything more to say on that. I think I've pretty much covered it all.
You did good.
You know, what irritates me is they come on camera down in the ACA, you know, all happy and smiling and, oh, we just want to take your calls. Call in. We're here to answer you.
They're closed-minded.
I'm going to provide a link with one of his appearances here on Talk Heathens. I'm going to post it in Atheist Helpline. There you go. If you're not sure which one he is, he's the dude on the left. Maybe you guys might be interested. How about we listen to some of his dialogue on Talk Schmeathens? Would you guys be interested in that?
Yes.
Agreement, man.
I came late.
4 people on, so it's a little bit of a different format, a little bit more conversational, which I really enjoy. So yeah, you're repping the nonprofits today, and that will be on after this at 3 p.m. Central. Is that correct?
That is correct. You were on, was it last week or the week before that?
It was at least 2 weeks ago at this point.
Time
Probably
means
even more
nothing.
than that. Yeah, we were stuck in a
I'm
deep
going to
freeze
skip
for a
some
week,
of this.
so visit tiny.cc/call. Mark of the episode today. Minute. All right, let's talk with Gohan and see if he gets himself blocked again. Hey, Gohan, how are you doing today?
Oh my god.
Good. How about you guys?
They're doing good.
Good.
Excited to talk to you again. It's been a hot minute.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
I haven't called back in good. I think it's been over a year, but yeah. You guys been doing good?
Yeah, we've been hanging in there, still going strong. What can we help you with today? What is your reason for calling in?
So one of my arguments for one of my main reasons for being a theist is the idea of rationality. And if I was to kind of become an atheist, this would be one thing that would have to be toppled for me pretty quick.
Well, if you're okay, you're gonna have to sell me on that one.
Sure. Just like a quick summary is like I see two options for rationality. One is we kind of just came from a long line of cause and effect that kind of gave us our mind, which doesn't really leave much room for rationality. Or there's a
Now, does anybody believe that these two are neutral toward the existence of God? Anybody believe that? Bueller? Anyone?
They believe they got intelligence from non-intelligence.
Yeah, they call themselves atheists. They've selected the only word in the English language which designates the denial and falsity of God, yet they want to go, I'm unconvinced. And you'll notice that I said to them, well, that's ambiguous. Everybody who denies the existence of God is unconvinced. So are you neutral? Then he tried to put off that he's neutral. Does anybody believe that he was telling the truth when he's neutral? Does anybody doubt, even for a second, that it's not the case that he believes that there's no God?
He's fucking delusional.
Okay. So let's hopefully, I'll probably try to fast forward some of this to hear some of his commentary, and we'll see, you know, if he's real sheepish about answering questions.
Somebody or some control over.
Johnny, what do you think?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Convince us that free will exists. I recently read, been on a reading spree lately, and what you just started talking about reminded me of two books that I just recently read, and you might consider checking it out yourself. Both are by Dan Dennett, From Bacteria to Bach and Back, which talks about how a cognitive mind can develop, how there can be, how nature can create an intelligent creature, an intelligent design without a designer. And then Elbow Room, which talks all about the nature of free will and whether we have it, and to what extent we may.
So basically what he's talking about, Dan Dennett is an atheist. So basically what he's talking about here is a book that refuses to reference or acknowledge God. It's basically giving an atheistic representation of why things are they are without God, right? So this is God denialism without an explicit God denialism. This is the little game, the little verbal kabuki dance that they play, right? So he's praising this book about how human consciousness came about through purely material occurrences, okay? Well, this is just a quiet God denialism, right? And yet they keep on going, oh, we're unconvinced. Do you guys see how deceitful atheists are? The reason why it's so difficult to talk with them because of their deceit.
May or may not have it. So before you form opinions about having free will, before you form opinions and dig too much in the dirt about where our minds come from, you might want to look into a book like this, either by
written by Dan Dennett, who is an atheist, okay?
Dan Dennett or other thinkers and writers, to challenge your preconceived notions. Because after reading this, there was a lot of questions that I still need answers to that I'm probably not going to get unless I go get a PhD in neuroscience.
Yeah, you're not going to get them even then, buddy.
Gohan, what?
Yeah.
What research have you done?
What a vague... Why would you ask that question? Do you ever ask that question, Darth?
No.
I didn't hear them biochemically break it down. Did you guys hear it? No, I didn't hear them break it down.
I want to ask everybody in the room, and I really want people to respond because I don't want to do all the talking all the time. But is there anyone in this room who thinks that if I called in and I had the same line of a question to Johnny P. Angel, and it was just him and me, mano a mano, and he was behind that golden microphone, do you think that he would have folded like a cheap lawn chair as quickly as he did? or he would have just stretched it out, run the clock out,
Stretch it out
prevaricate, right?
100%.
Right. He would have attempted to save face, like he was continuing the discussion. He would have continued to be even more deceptive on camera, but he couldn't pull that here, right? Because here, at least, it's more of a level playing field. I tried not to use my moderation powers in an abusive way, right? I think I was pretty fair with him, and I think I was
Wait, you
pretty
call
assertive.
into this one?
No, I'm talking about what happened right now tonight. Here, were you here when Johnny P. Angel was here?
When was that?
You missed it?
Was that like a half hour ago?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Hold on a second. Supreme Leader, can you make sure that we get the link to Darth Dawkins talks with Johnny P. Angel from Talk Heathens and Atheist Experience? Can you put that in the title? So that these atheist clowns on the internet.
Dude, what brought him in here? Because yesterday I messaged him and I asked him to come in.
That's what did it.
Okay, wow. It actually worked. 1 out of 10 of them actually responded. Cool. I mean, he didn't respond, but he came.
Oh, you know what? I bow down before you. That was great. We got to talk with one of these talking heads from the ACA. This guy humiliated himself. Okay?
How long was he in here? 5 minutes?
Wait. Well, you know what? I'm not going to do any spoilers here. You're just going to have to listen to it.
I can't wait.
Okay, so check with Supreme
Yeah,
Leader.
yeah.
Message me with the link. You know, when it's uploaded, and the titles on there. Darth Dawkins talks with Johnny P. Angel. All right, and also add that he's from Talk Heathens and Atheist Experience. Oh, you missed it. It was a gem.
It's cool. It's cool. At least my investment paid off.
It was. I don't know. What would you guys say? Was it as bad or worse than PZ Myers? What do you guys think? Bueller?
I haven't listened to PZ Myers one yet.
Yeah.
I can't judge.
Yeah, this was pretty bad, and I just hit him between the eyes of what a phony he was. Okay.
Yeah, I just messaged all of them, like the main public figures on ACA. I was hoping like Dragnot Silvus would come because that would be so funny, dude.
Oh no, he's a dirtbag.
Oh, I know, but it would be so funny.
You want to know what he? Oh, he won't come in here. He hates me.
Yeah.
You want to know what he did to
I got
me?
an actual response from Anthony Magnabosco. He said, "No thanks."
Oh no, Anthony Magnabosco will not come in here. Absolutely not. No way.
But Johnny P. Angel will.
Yeah. I was in a Discord server, and I showed up, and then a couple of people left. Dragnot Silvas appeared, and it was just him and me. And he called me out by name and said that he was going to find one of my female relatives and have sexual contact with them. But he didn't put it in that euphemistic way.
Things atheists would say.
This is Dragnut Silvas, okay? This is the kind of people that we're dealing with, all right? So kudos to you, my friend. What you need to do, and others, is you need to get more of these atheist wonks out there on the internet so that we can get in. And Johnny P. Angel never should have showed up. He totally embarrassed himself. If he ever shows up again on Talk Heathens or Atheist Experience,
dude, you'll just call him out.
I mean, just a total fraud. You're gonna have to listen to it. It was great.
Oh yeah,
right. It's really good. I called him out for being a fraud. And by the way, I didn't call him out for being a fraud in terms of what he says on these talking head shows. I'm talking about how he responded to me. Right? He was lying. He was prevaricating.
Was he getting upset or was he chill?
No. He was being kind of sarcastic. Like slightly edgy, like he's a stand-up comic.
He said while he was talking to Darth that he was planking, and Darth was interrupting his planking and to non-planking position.
Yeah, well, then you shouldn't come onto the microphone, right? If you're busy, just say, "I'll be glad to talk with you later or tomorrow."
Yeah, but do you
or
really
whatever.
think he was planking? No.
I mean, he's like 7 or 8 years late on that joke.
All right, let's continue. Let's see what pearls of wisdom he gives.
Conversation is not answering the question that I asked initially, which is